Welcome to the Piece of Us podcast. I hope everyone's having a great day today. I am your host, Max, and I have my mom and my
Hey,
dad.
What's up? I'm eating a sandwich, so bear with me.
he's eating a chicken
And we
sandwich over
got
here.
Joe.
Howdy.
And today, I don't know. We didn't really have a topic today, so we're just kind of going for it. I have some questions, though,
I
unless you
think
want to
that's
start
what's fun
somewhere.
though, is sometimes just having those conversations and you
Yeah,
just see where it goes.
yeah. So do you have a topic
Okay.
you want to start off
Well,
with, or
no,
do
I
you want me
have a
to
couple of
start with some
things.
questions?
So eggs are crazy expensive right now.
Yeah.
Like crazy. And it was crazy because well, I used crazy a lot. That's kind of funny. But we actually used to have chickens, and I feel like we had all of these eggs, and the kids wouldn't really eat them. And I feel like we never went through a lot of eggs, and then all of a sudden, of course, as soon as prices go up, our kids are eating eggs nonstop right now. And Lucas and Jake are like eating like 10 a day. And they're like, we need the protein. And I'm like, oh, can we have done protein when they weren't so expensive? I mean, it's fine. It's good. You know, I want them to eat healthy, obviously. But let's talk about our chicken experience having chickens. Because I know a lot of people are asking, are you going to get chickens again? And the answer is
I don't know.
no, the answer is no. The answer is absolutely a no.
Okay, let's put it out there. If the price keeps going up the way it's going, we're getting chickens because that's
Oh
trading
my
commodity
gosh.
right there.
Well, so
Just
an
saying.
interesting thing here in Arizona is just recently the city of Chandler actually just passed a ordinance where HOAs have the ability, individual HOAs can block it, but anywhere in the city of Chandler that is residential zoned, they are now allowed to have a certain number of chickens just
Really?
because it's getting so popular because prices are getting so bad.
So something that I was watching on TikTok and I saw this. It was somebody talking about. I don't remember where it was, but basically they made it legal or mandatory, or the city I think provided. It was like 3 chickens per household, and I think they had
Where
like
was this?
I don't remember. I'll try to find it, but they had like 2,000 homes sign up and get the 3 free chickens. And just those 6,000 chickens in that area reduced landfill mass because they would eat chicken or table scraps. They reduced landfill mass in that town or whatever by like 100 million tons a year. It was like, it
Wow.
was crazy. And I was like, I never thought of like chickens helping to reduce landfill mass. It was the weirdest thing. So that just popped in my head.
Oh yeah, my mom has chickens. She's had them for years. People who've watched some of our channels have probably seen them here or there. And it's funny because my mom will go to, we go to anybody's house, even Thanksgiving and stuff like that. My mom's like, hey, no, don't throw any of the scraps away. I'm going to take them back and feed them to the chickens. My chickens love this and that. And some of her chickens
Oh.
like certain foods better than some of the other chickens, but it's a great way to create food by, feeding them the food that you didn't eat.
So we have a couple of stories with our chickens, and I have one big story of why I don't want chickens, actually. Um, but Max used to be the main one to take care of the chickens.
Yeah.
A lot of the other kids were never interested, but Max was like, I want that to be my chore, and that's what I do. What was your experience with taking care of chickens? Did you find it easy, hard?
It was fun, but it was hard, especially when I had school, especially like school early in the morning, and I had to like feed them and stuff early in the morning. And so that made it hard to kind of do
And what
that.
about when it was winter time and you had to unfreeze their water?
I broke the lock on it. I actually watched the video the other day of when I broke the lock and we had to go out there and fix it, but um it was definitely a lot harder in the winter, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I definitely wouldn't want to do that again, but it was an interesting experience.
You seemed to love it back then. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said it was fun, but I know it is a lot of
I
work.
remember when you were
Okay,
attacked
so
in the
this is
night.
my one reason why I don't want chickens. So we had, I don't know how many chickens we had. We had a lot of chickens, and then we had
20.
one rooster. And the rooster all of a sudden was just being mean. And he was just so mean for no reason. And so he started like pecking the other chickens and like he would kind of get aggressive and stuff. And I was like, so I know this is, I don't know. But anyways, so one day I was like, you're going to be mean. You're going to sit in timeout. And I took him out. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I thought it was one of my kids. I'm like, that's
This
it.
is so you, Crystal.
I know. So I took it out of the chicken pen and I put it on the outside of the chicken pen. I was like, there, you're in timeout. Like, you don't get to be with the other chickens for a minute, right? And I wasn't really thinking in anything of it. I was just like, it needs a minute. Sometimes we all need a minute. So,
So we were letting him free roam basically around the cage, but he would stay within because
yeah,
we
he would
wanted.
still stay within our yard, but he would go around and eat too, and it was actually kind of a good thing because he kind of helped clean up the yard. We had a pretty big property, and so anyways, one night we had forgot to get the eggs and we needed them to bake a cake. And Savannah was like, hey, let's go out and collect some eggs. And I'm like, okay. And it was dark and we lived in a little small town and they didn't have street lights where we were. So it was pitch black outside. And she was holding her phone as a flashlight. And we're going out and we're lifting the little thing up. We're getting the eggs out. And I hear flapping. And then I hear something hit my leg, or like I feel something hit my leg. And I was like, what was that, Savannah? And she's like, the rooster. It's out to get you. And then she takes off running because she starts screaming, but she takes the entire light with her. So I'm in the pitch darkness and I have all these eggs in my hand and I just hear flapping. And I knew that thing was going to get me and it was probably going to eat me. And that was how my life was going to end. Like I was convinced. So I'm screaming, eggs are flying everywhere. And I'm just like, "Ah!" across the yard. And all the kids are standing up on the porch, like dying laughing. But I didn't know where the rooster was. So I had to run in a circle because I didn't want it to follow me in the house. I don't know. It was a really, really bad experience. And I was
Oh, I
like,
would
we're
have loved
never
to have
having
seen that.
chickens again. We're never.
It
So,
was funny to watch.
no, you guys all just stood there. Nobody helped me as I ran around in
Let's
the
just think, like
darkness.
you're looking out at the yard, you're waiting for your mom to come back in, and you just hear screaming and running around the yard. It was
It
so
chased
funny.
me for a good, like, I don't even know how many feet, but it chased me for a while. And it was like, I'm terrified of roosters now. And I hear that flapping and I get instantly triggered because it's just not it. So I do not want chickens, but only because I was traumatized by one.
I would totally do chickens again. If you are thinking of doing chickens, number one, do some calculations on how much you think your family will eat. I grossly overestimated how much we would actually eat.
It wouldn't be now though.
No, it
That would have been
actually would
perfect.
have been perfect. I think we got 20.
Yeah, we had 20
I
with
think-
one rooster, so we had 19 laying.
Yeah, and we were getting a ton of eggs because
Yeah.
a chicken yeah, they'll lay one egg a day is what we were roughly getting.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, in the thick of it, we were getting so many eggs. We were giving them to our neighbors, and we were.
I will
giving
say
them
that they
to-
were the best tasting. Like when we moved down here and we got rid of the chickens when we were moving down here, and then I had like store-bought eggs, and it almost tasted like plasticky. Like it almost was like, ugh, like I couldn't eat eggs for like a month or two until like I got used to it again, which I know obviously you know what you're feeding your chickens and it's more organic and more, you know what I mean, just healthier, but yeah, huge difference on taste though. So,
A lot more flavor. The yolks are so anybody that's never actually tried homegrown eggs, something not just you're buying at the store, there's a lot more yolk, and the yolk tends to be a little bit darker, more colorful. So if it's the first time you ever open one up, you're kind of like, whoa, it's a little bit weird, but man, it's all flavor and nutrition. And
and we had one chicken that kept laying twins, like there's two yolks in it. It was so cool. So, there were some positives to our chicken experience, but
I will have to see if our HOA allows.
we're
for
not getting chickens.
Yeah, I don't
Not
know.
yet.
I might have to fight you on this one.
Okay, so that actually leads us to our next topic, though, that I was thinking is will we ever move again? So I mentioned it in one
So-
of our Crazy Mom Hustle vlogs,
It's funny. I watched the Crazy Mom Hustle vlog. I wasn't there when you filmed it.
and I
And
never
Crystal's all like, "We're moving," and I'm like, "What? We're moving?"
Okay, hear
Crystal,
me out.
please tell me
Crystal,
more.
if you
Okay.
try to move during the summer again, I'm busy that
It's
day.
all you, Joe.
I am busy that day.
Just kidding. It was a nightmare to move this many people. Like a nightmare. That was probably our worst move because there were so many of us, and you'd think that means more hands, but that means more stuff to move. And so it was really
I
difficult
will
to
say I
move.
appreciate Joe's help.
Yes,
And
we
I
appreciate you.
kind of got Joe back. I helped move Joe, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
And Joe literally has the largest book collection of any single person that you've ever seen. And
Thousands.
those boxes were heavy. So,
Well, and it wasn't just that they were heavy. There were lots and lots and lots of them.
yes.
So yeah.
But
Y-
I do appreciate
They
your
go back
help
and forth.
when it came time for us to move.
You know, we did it.
Friends
one
help you
trip,
move?
though.
We did.
I
What
was
is-
surprised we did it one trip because I didn't think we would.
Well, we had several U-Hauls,
We had 2
truck,
U-Hauls.
like we had a lot going on. But so will we ever move again? It's funny because Aaron and I kind of don't, well, we do discuss things like that, obviously. But sometimes I just go on Zillow and I'm like, hey, house, like when I see one. No, you know what? I hate that. I really want to build that apartment for Jamie. And it's one of my things that is just like, that needs to be done. And with our city having all of those setback laws and all the different things. And so right now they're like, you have to, apply obviously to get a variance on it so that we can build closer to the fence. But it's just frustrating because it's like, it's the perfect spot to put an apartment and build it up to, and then Jamie can have that apartment as a permanent residence. And if the city doesn't allow it and they don't grant it, then we can't build anything. And it's just kind of difficult. And there's this house on Zillow. It's not big enough for our family because we just do need a lot of bedrooms. But it's on like 2 acres of land and no HOA. And I'm like, we could build, but
Max, how do you feel about sudden emancipation and moving out on your own?
no. But my other thing is the schools here. And then
If
I
we have
love-
2 acres, we're getting chickens. Just saying.
Oh my gosh. But my other reason was I love the elementary school that the kids are in. The high school I just don't like. And there's been so many just different things in the high school that I'm like, I just don't love it, And I really like Gilbert School District, and we're in Mesa School District right now. And so I don't know. It's just, yeah. But we probably won't for the next 4 years. Right?
What if we were to find a big piece
Oh,
of
now
property?
he's thinking about it more than me.
Well, what if we were to find a big piece of property? We have the plans for this house, so we wouldn't have to pay like an architect to draw them up. But we just rebuild this house on a bigger piece
On
of
a little more
property
land.
without an HOA.
That's true.
In Gilbert, problem solved.
That'll probably take a couple years to build though, so it'd still
That's
be
true.
the same. I do like our view too. Like we do have mountains behind us and we're kind of up on a hill. So there's so many things. And I do love our house. I don't want anyone to misconstrue that I don't like our house or something's going on. Like I love where we are.
You
And
have
I
one of the
really-
best views
We
in
do.
the East Valley.
I
agree.
love our view. So that's why I want to stay here for a while. And, I don't know. We'll see how things turn out, I guess, over the next few years. But we're where we are right now. And I don't want to uproot or move any of the kids because they've all moved enough. And I want, Bella to finish out high school where she is and all of that. So, yeah.
It broke my heart a little bit when I read those comments of people questioning that we didn't want permanency for Jamie, and I'm like, I want permanency for all my kids.
Right? For every kid deserves permanency.
I definitely want permanency, but sometimes your living situation just doesn't work for you, and then you have to move to
But-
get to a situation that does work for you.
It wasn't even that she had to move, though. She wants to.
She wants to, yeah.
Jamie's actually very opinionated when it comes to stuff. And she'll tell you exactly how she feels about a situation or how she feels about whatnot. And she doesn't sugarcoat things.
No filter.
She's like, yeah, she's just, this is what I want to do. And this is, where I want to be. And so when she has that, I'm like, her opinion matters.
Absolutely.
And I know I said that in the Crazy Mom Hustle vlog is like, just because she has a disability doesn't mean that her opinion doesn't matter. Like her opinion is everything because it's her life and I want her to be happy and successful. And so, yeah, it is what it is.
All right. Let me
All
get
right,
some
Max.
questions. Let me get some
Let
questions.
me hear your question that you have.
There's several questions. Okay. All right. We'll start at the top. How are you feeling today?
Is that directed at me or all of us?
The look on her face was like, you look like a deer in the headlights right there.
Okay, real quick. I have the worst headache today, and my neck is like killing me. So, my neck has been hurting since the beginning of December. Like, I woke up and it like was like a kink in your neck where you like have a hard time moving it, and I'm like, but within a few days it always goes away. Well, mine got a little bit better, but it never went away. So finally, I made a chiropractor appointment. Well, Aaron made me a chiropractor appointment the other day, and I went in, and he actually wanted to do x-rays because he's like, that's not good that it hasn't gone away. And my neck has like, I don't know how to describe it, has a little like curve in it towards the top. And he's like, did you fall or have an injury or something? And then one of my little discs are like turned a little bit. And he's like, it's fixable. Like we can do, things to fix it. But he's like, at the same time, what did you do? And I'm like, I just woke up this way. Like I have no idea. And then as I thought about it for the, later on that day, I was like, oh, I did a TikTok where I fell off my bed and I did crack my neck. And so TikTok did this to me. I'm just saying.
Aaron, we're still looking for that bubble wrap suit for her.
Right?
I feel like I'm always falling or doing something, but
All right. Next question is
Hold on. though.
Right,
How's the
Joe
neck?
and-
How's the neck feeling now?
it still hurts.
You still got the.
I go in a couple days, and he's gonna fully read the X-rays and see what needs to be done. But yeah, I'm still right in the middle of all that. Wait, how's Joe and Dad doing?
For me, I'm tired. I got a little bit of a sore throat, but I had some hot chocolate before the show, so that really helped out. And chicken sandwich is helping.
Every day above ground's a good day.
All right.
all right. The next one says,
How's Max doing?
Yeah.
"Oh,
how are
I'm
you?
doing amazing. I just had my first video hit, or my the first video I've had that hit 20K.
Yay! Congratulations.
So a quick follow-up on Max's New Year's resolution to post at least one video a week. He has successfully done it so far.
If he misses a week, he has to shave his head. I'm waiting, Max. I'm just kidding. He's been doing amazing. I'm
Can
very
we
proud
can
of
we
you.
shave it on the podcast? Like I
On
shave
here?
it right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I'm not gonna fail though, so I
I
don't.
don't think
even
you're
have
gonna
to think
fail,
about it.
but
I don't
if
even
you
have to
do
think about it.
fail, I want you to
We
know
can make
those
whatever bet we
consequences
want,
are coming
but
for you.
it's not going to happen.
Right now, I'm posting like twice a week right now, so that's
That's
Keep
good.
up the good work. I'm really proud of you.
thank you. Next one is name 3 influential people in your life that have impacted you, and why.
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a really good one. My first one would definitely be my mom. I feel like she's been through so much and yet always still has a smile on her face. And she continues to go through all of these trials. And now that I'm an adult and I look at it, I always thought she was strong when I was younger, but I didn't realize how strong. And so, definitely her, I feel like I get a lot of my strength from her and a lot of my you can overcome anything because of what she went through. My second person would be probably Aaron. I know he looks shocked over
You
there.
look so confused.
He's like,
What?
what?
What did
But
I do?
I think, you know what? I feel like you taught me how to really love, like unconditional love. And I feel like we went through so much together over the years and just everything we've been through. And you've always stuck by my side. We've always, like, even if we're mad at each other for a little while, like, we always work through it. And you really taught me what unconditional love, like, truly feels like. And
I love you too. You're welcome.
you're welcome.
We're still
Okay.
a third.
I gotta think about my third. One of you go. While I think about my third.
I'll let Joe go on this one while I eat my chicken sandwich.
First one that jumps to mind is, it's always these like cliche ones sometimes, but I think it's also because proximity to people really helps. But I think one of mine is my grandfather, because he's like such a great guy, but look at some of the stuff in his past, and he's had some times that were maybe not so great and things like that. But the way he's come back from difficult times to really be the great inspirational man that he is. And just everybody that meets him absolutely loves him, respects him. He's just one of those people you get around him and you feel the genuine warmth coming out of him. And that's kind of the person that I'm always striving to be is, you just want to be just like that person. And it makes it great knowing some of the things in his past to seeing who he is now. It kind of tells you, hey, no matter what mistakes you may make, anything like that, you can always overcome them and be that better person that you always hope you can be. So that would be probably my main one. I'd have to think on a couple others.
Okay, so I have my third, or if you want to go, Max.
You go.
Okay, my third one is my grandma, and she was the most genuine person, and just I can't even describe all the lessons that I learned from her. And she passed away when I was 12, so all of this was before I was 12 years old. But there was a couple ones. So she would have we had a lot, like a large family, and then so did my cousin. And so she would invite us all to come during our lunch and leave middle school and come to her house for lunch every day. And it was a lot of us, and we're screaming and running around and all of this. And I asked her one day, I was like, why do you do this? Like, why would you want to drive yourself insane with this craziness? And she was like, because one day this will no longer even be an option. And she just lived every moment as knowing that life is short and knowing that things go by so fast. And one other quick thing is I had a stepdad who was schizophrenic and threatened our lives, and we had restraining orders, and it was just this bad, bad situation. And one day I was going to go over to my grandma's house, and I look through the window and I see him sitting in her house talking to her. And I was so angry at my grandma, and I was so mad because I was like, that guy put us through, or is putting us through so much. Why? And so I waited till he left, and I went over there, and my little self was like, Grandma, let me tell you how much you hurt my feelings, And I was telling her, like, why? Like, why would you do that? And she looks over at me, and she was so calm and just sweet, but she looked over at me and she said, Crystal, everyone deserves someone to talk to. And she said he is in a really bad place and he just needed somebody to talk to. And it was a huge lesson for me that I've taken into my future is no matter what choices somebody makes, no matter what we all go through, like everybody needs somebody to talk to. And so, I don't know, it was a really good life lesson, but that's my third.
Mine would probably be U2.
Aw.
And I don't know if I could think of a third. I mean,
I was like, do we count as two or one?
U2.
Are we a package?
Oh, we're
deal?
two.
I don't know if I can think of. I don't know a third one, but you two have absolutely changed my life. You guys are such a big inspiration to me. So, you guys are definitely at the top. There's several people who could go in the third spot, but I don't know. Grandma or your mom is probably definitely up there. I don't know. It's a hard question. I'm curious what his are.
Oh my goodness, there are so many. So I'm gonna actually say Jared from the Crazy Middles.
Aw.
I spent a lot of my lifetime not in a religious position, like where I was, putting my heart into following Jesus and whatnot. And Jared, being a great example that he is for me, was huge in my coming to the church, and I can never repay him for the example that he set. And every day to this day, I still like whenever I do something, I'm thinking about. Jared had this. It was an interesting thing. So when Shelly and Jared first started getting together, they would always ask like, "What's Jared like when he gets mad?" And Jared never gets really mad.
I know. Shelly and I tried testing that.
We were not sure about him at first because it was just like, this guy's too good to be true, but he's not.
And
he is.
later on, we asked him like, Jared, why do you never get mad? And his response was just, it was life changing to me. And he's like, whatever's happening, it's it's temporary. And if I get mad and I have the wrong reaction, that could have permanent consequences. So never sacrifice the permanency for something that is temporary. And it was so insightful to me. And I've had a hothead in the past, and I was like, wow, that is so changing, you know what I mean? Because when we're feeling upset or when we're hurt or when we're mad or whatever, we want to like, do something about it in the moment. And I think sometimes our actions can go to a place where you do potentially sacrifice permanence or foreverness, you know what I mean? And you could change, the relationship or, depending on what it was, jail, whatnot. But yeah, that just really affected me.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah. So I don't know if Jared knows that, but
Aw.
thank you,
We're
Jared.
gonna have to get Shelly and Jared on here soon, guys.
Absolutely.
soon.
I would love to have them. Um, so he's not going to know that I'm going to say him, but Joe.
He looks shocked too.
So,
Hold on, if I'm the one you're looking at, we might have trouble here.
well, you're going to be like, how do I inspire you? And it's actually in parenting. It's in fatherhood. And for as long as I've known Joe, Joe has always been a very caring person. He's always putting other people's needs before his own. Whenever he shows up, he's always like, how can I help to make everybody else's day around me better? And
Wait, one quick thing when it comes to that too. Like when anybody's eating, I notice Joe will sit back and let everybody else get food first, and then he'll go in there and grab food. And I think that was really sweet. Okay, keep going.
anyways, Joe just has a caring, and it comes out with our kids very much that Joe's able to, I think, put a lot of what he would be as a father into our kids, and it's just a true testament to me. And for us who have adopted, just because you don't give birth to a child doesn't mean you can't be a fatherly figure to them. And I feel like Joe has really been a father at times to our kids in ways that I didn't realize they needed. And, I wouldn't say he's filled in the gaps, but he's filled in the gaps in a way, and I truly really would like for Joe to find somebody so that he can have kids, because I am one that is curious to see what he looks like as an actual father, and that I'm super excited to see what that's like. So whatever you got to do,
All right, we're cutting onions in. Who's
Yeah,
cutting
you
Aaron.
onions?
get your act
Just
together,
right.
sir, because I am curious to see what that looks like.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
I don't think you knew that I thought that about you, but I do. And
No, I
I
didn't.
think you're going to be an amazing father. And ladies, please call him up, because
We're working on it.
We're
My
working
friend
on it.
Carrie and I are putting him on a dating site, and we're picking a bunch of girls for him. So don't worry, guys.
Wait, what?
We got this. I just sent her a bunch of pictures to put in your profile.
Surprise. Okay, all right.
It's okay. It's gonna be amazing.
Video becoming to beyond crazy. Joe dating 3,000 girls till we find the right one. Whatever we got to do.
All right. This could be fun.
And then my last one, and of course there's more than three, but my last one is going to be Crystal. And she has a patience and a love. And I think it was funny that she said that I taught her what true love is. And I feel like I didn't have that until Crystal came into my life, and I knew or found my one, my soulmate. And I feel like you've shown me so much and taught me so much, and I'm just so happy to be walking this journey with you.
Aw, that's so sweet.
You're really cute too.
I don't get the cue.
Okay, I
You're
am
cute,
interested
too.
to hear your guys' answers on this question. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Buy crypto.
What?
Get in at the bottom.
Get it at the bottom.
Actually, not buy crypto, mine crypto.
Really?
That would have been amazing.
I actually did on your thing. I literally had back when um, Bitcoin was like $100 a coin. I had a friend who's like, "Hey guys, you should get into this," and it was like, "Yeah, no, that's dumb. This is I don't know what you're talking about." And he since bought a really really nice house off of a couple, a few $100s that he invested at the time. So it was like, yeah, you're definitely onto something with the
We have this house because of his crypto choices. They helped
true.
us with our down payment.
Yes, they
Although
did.
get out, also buy crypto, but also get out at the right time.
That's
'Cause
true. That's very true.
True. Oh gosh. I would tell myself, gosh, I don't know. Maybe to live in the moment more, like enjoy those moments because kind of like my grandma taught me, like you never will get those moments back. And I feel like when I had Hallie as a baby, I had all the books and I had all the everything. And I had this book that would tell you like the next milestone and like what would be next. And I was constantly like, oh my gosh, when is she going to start rolling over? Oh, that's going to happen next month. And I was always looking at that. And then I was like, when is she going to take her first steps? When is she going to blah, blah? And I was constantly like looking for the next thing. And then by the time I had Max, I was like, oh my gosh, like I felt like I didn't enjoy those moments because I was always looking for the next thing. So with Max, I was like, I'm not going to look at the books. I'm not going to look at the next milestone. I'm just going to enjoy each moment. And I wish I would have learned that as an 18-year-old or as younger, that just enjoy those moments because they go so fast, you know?
While we're talking about my birth, can you tell them my birth story?
Oh my
The worst
gosh.
birth ever?
Max had like a traumatic birth. I'm surprised I had a third.
Or should we tell this on the like February 14th? Because I'm pretty sure that's a
Oh,
Tuesday.
because your birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
We'll tell it now because we'll do another special for that.
All right.
But well, real quick, Joe, go ahead and answer. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
ooh,
Don't get married.
no, there's a lot of things that happen in life that aren't the way you planned, that can go disastrously wrong. But bad things that happen to you don't define who you are.
Ooh, I like that.
And you can, even though, you think things are going to be great and they don't always turn out that way, it's okay. And just to not let it drag you down. You're better than the things that happen to you sometimes.
I love that.
Wish I'd learned that, I don't know, 22 years ago, but hey.
It's okay. Better late than never. Okay, so Max, your story, your birth story. Okay, so I woke up feeling really off, and Shelly shows up at my house, and she's like, "This baby's being born today because it was February 14th, Valentine's Day, which is also our biological dad's birthday, and I was gonna name you Max. So obviously we wanted you to be born on his birthday because we thought that'd be so cool. So she made me go on this walk, and she is like making me walk."
It was like a 3-hour walk.
It was crazy. And well, no, I didn't make it that far. I got like down the street and I was like, Shelly, like, I'm pretty sure I am already in labor. Like, let's just go back to the house. So we walked back to the house, went over to the hospital. Oh, then my water started leaking. So I was like, oh, for sure. But it wasn't like in the movies where it's like a gush of water. No, it was just a little bit every time I'd have a contraction. And so I show up at the hospital, and the hospital says, we're too full. I'm going to need you to wait in the waiting room. And I'm like,
Oh, no.
so I'm leaking, like, just so you know, there's gonna be water all over your waiting room floor and in the chairs. And they're like, are you sure you're leaking? I'm like, I'm positive. So they did bring me back. They tested it, and they were like, yes, it is your water. You are in labor. We're gonna go ahead and admit you. And so I decided that I wanted to do a natural birth, and didn't know what I was doing back then, and I took some class that told me I needed to do this. So then I told Aaron and Shelly, because they were going to be the ones in the room, and I said, no matter what I say to you, I do not want medication. And I said, I will beg you for it. I will ask you for it. do not give it to me because I'm not going to be in the right state of mind. So just so you know, I don't want it. Like I'm in a sane mind now, but I won't be then. And they both promised me. Well, lo and behold, it was bad. And they, I felt like I could handle it. And then they gave me Pitocin to speed up the labor. And it went from being able to handle it to I probably would have rather have died. Like the contractions were so bad. And so I'm begging. I'm like, please. Like I can't like I'm going to die. Like you have to give me something. And you could tell Shelly and Aaron both felt so bad.
That was probably one of the hardest moments of my entire life. To see you there on the bed and you were just crying, you were screaming. I could tell you
begging.
were in like the worst pain of your life. And you made me promise to not give you the
I
medication.
know. Why would I
And
do
I
that?
was
That was
like,
stupid.
okay, I'm stuck in the middle here. Like, I want to help. I like seeing this person that I love so much in such pain, and the doctors have the stuff to take this away, or at least, take it down a huge notch. But I made this promise, and for me, when you make a promise, like you got to stick to it. You know what I mean? It's part of your integrity and whatnot. And so I just felt so bad
Ugh.
because
Yeah, and then the doctor would come in. I was like, listen, I need something. And I would tell the doctor. And then I would see Shelly and Aaron over in the corner talking to the doctor. And I'm like, no! I was so mad. I was like, no, don't do
So wait, that's your
it.
18-year-old self thing is to
Right,
don't
never
have
do
that
that. I
first
wouldn't have done
conversation.
that. That is so true.
always getting
And then the doctor would come back and he'd be like, okay, I'm going to come back with it. But he would never come back with it. And so it came time to push. I'm not even joking. Maybe 1.5 pushes, you were out. Like, I was like, I would do anything to not feel this pain. And the doctor's like, I've never seen someone push the way you pushed. And this baby came out like just seconds of him coming in there because I was just like over it, which I guess made labor easy, like the pushing part easy. But then here's the kicker of the whole entire story is the nurse came in right after you were born, and we were talking for a second, and she was just helping me, and I was like, hey, I'm curious, why did you guys give me Pitocin? Because that made the contractions so much worse. And I was like, was something wrong with the labor? Was something going on? And she's like, oh no, we're just really full and we needed your room. And I was like, I almost died because you needed a room in the hospital. Like I was really, really upset. Obviously, I did, no one could have seen that coming, but I guess everyone wanted to have their baby born on
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. So you were worth it, but that hospital just needed a room and almost killed me.
And that was the crazy part. So once Max was born, he was a little bit jaundiced, right? And so they were really concerned about that. And they're like, we're gonna put him in the nursery, but we're gonna put him under these UV lights to help with the jaundice. But he's gonna need to stay like a couple of extra days.
I think it's 4 or 5 days.
And the next morning, after his birth, they were like, "All right, Crystal, you got to go. Like, you got to
Yeah.
leave."
They
And
kicked
she's
me in
like,
my room.
"You want me to leave my baby in the hospital, and you want me to go home?" And Crystal's like, "I'm not accepting that." And so, literally, Mom and Shelly, I feel so bad for you.
I know. Well, there was a thing behind it too. So I was not successful in breastfeeding Hallie. And I had tried and tried, I couldn't figure it out. And I was young and didn't probably know what I was doing, but I had taken classes and was determined to breastfeed Max. And so when they said that he has to stay in the hospital and you're released to go home, I was like, not going to happen. So I slept in the waiting room for 4 days.
4 days.
And I went in every 3 hours and fed him and just stayed there. And it was when you're going through postpartum already and you're going through and I had such a traumatic birthing experience. Like I cried and cried, and the nurses felt bad and would bring me in food and like they would do stuff, but I did not leave that hospital until I was bringing my baby with me. So
It all worked out.
it all worked out, Max. You're worth it. Traumatized me a little bit, but we're good.
He was quite a pain then, but he's grown up to be one of your easier kids.
Oh my gosh, he's like a dream teenager for sure.
He just got it all out of the way
Right? He
very
just
quickly.
I was quite the destructive child.
you were a hard child. I'm not gonna lie. You were
Bull in a china closet for sure.
Yes.
That is
You
that
broke
is
a
true.
lot
I
of
was I was nannying or mannying for you for a little while way back when you were young, and it'd be like go and clean up, and you turn around and literally you're just like, wow, like seriously, you're the Tasmanian devil just making a mess.
I feel like though the saying is like if a kid is hard when they're young, they're easy teenagers. If they're easy when they're young, they're hard teenagers. And so far, I have found that to be true. I will say that.
All right, next question. What is your biggest failure and what did you learn from that experience?
There's no failures. There's just setbacks.
Right? There's just learning experiences. Gosh, that's a hard one.
That's a really difficult one.
It's
How about you,
crickets.
Joe?
Wow.
None
What
of
do you
us
think?
know any of our failures.
You know, it's kind of one of those like there's lots of, I guess you could call failures in something. You know, okay, for me, I was married and divorced. That's a big failure, but it's also something that's like, okay, you may have failed at something, but I feel like you can also look at it as you succeeded in personal growth and, you know, kind of as I think it was Thomas Edison had just said, you know, I didn't fail in trying to make the inventions that he made. I didn't fail hundreds of times. I just succeeded in getting one step closer to succeeding in the ultimate goal. So I try not to look at things as failures. So, you know, to me, it's like, oh, this is a big failure I had. No, everything I've done is just one step in the progression of trying to become the better person, trying to be more successful at whatever I'm doing in life. But if I had to hit one big monumental thing, I guess it would be my marriage. But that's kind of a failure that I'm glad happened. So, hey.
You
Need
learn
you
so
the
much
guy you
from
are
it,
today.
you know. I would say I don't really have any like, I guess failures because I feel like I am where I'm meant to be, and so, well, Maddie's trying to get up. We have a podcast dog with us as a guest. Our
Your
dog's
podcast
sitting.
dog. Hi.
She's really big. I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
Any for you over there? That's a hard question.
That's hard. We'll come back to that next week.
Well, hold
Let
on,
me
Max.
think
What about
it.
you?
I've been
You got
alive
anything?
for like
So, the biggest one you've had at this point
Almost
is that
17
big
years.
dungeon raid that you knew you were going to win that didn't pan out.
I don't know.
Okay, last one, and then we're gonna wrap this up.
There's a lot of questions here. Um,
Should we do
Right.
a rapid
this
fire?
one.
There.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
What is the most inspirational lesson you've learned over your career?
Ooh, I've got one. So there's a guy, Henry Eyring. He was a church leader, still is. But when I was younger, he's a brilliant guy, absolutely brilliant. And he had said one time, I heard him speaking. I was there seeing him speak live. And for as smart as this guy is, as influential and everything that he is, he made a comment that was really cool to me. He said that, you know, it doesn't matter who I'm listening to. It can be, you know, a young 12-year-old kid trying to teach you something. And, you know, you think, okay, what is this just brilliant gentleman? What is he going to learn from this random 12-year-old kid? And he said he always learns something from the people that he comes in contact with. It's not always what they're trying to teach necessarily, but he still learns something from them. And that's been something that's influenced me ever since I heard that my whole life is, you know, what can I learn from this person? Because everybody out there has something to teach you, has something that can help you grow, has something that can further you in life. And so I'm always actively looking for that kind of thing so that I can get better, I can be more successful, you know, and I can grow.
Ooh, I got one. Okay, so this was from my real estate career and like that kind of thing. So and this is, I don't know if I even should share this story, but I'm going to share it. So, Shelly and I went into real estate together and we started at this company and we had a boss. Obviously, I won't say his name. But he kind of took us under his wing, I would say, and was teaching us all about real estate and what we were doing and how to do it. And he really, Shelly and I felt like, oh my gosh, like somebody who's going to train us, and we learned so much from. And so I felt like it was good for a while. And then as we continued to do real estate, um, the market was tanking. This was in 2008, as everything was tanking down, and short sales were really big, and different things, and we started charging. Well, our company or the people that we were under were like, you got to start charging people to do these short sales, and you got to start doing this and that, and we all of a sudden, Shelly and I just didn't get a good feeling. And we were in a company meeting at one time, and they're like, this is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to charge people, and I need you to go back to the people you're working with and tell them they need to pay you this, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff, and tell them that you're the best. And Shelly and I both looked at each other, and we didn't feel like it was ethical. And in this middle of this meeting with all of these people, we said, we will not be doing that. And everyone was taken back, and the other agents were like, oh, like what? And we're like, we don't feel like it's ethical, and we're not going to do that. And we got very shunned in the meeting. I don't know how to better word that, but in that moment, though, Shelly and I went and we talked, and we decided in any career and anything that we did that we would stay true to ourselves. And it was a huge lesson. And I mean, even now, like more than ever, staying true to ourselves is really what is top of our list when it comes to a career or anything that we're doing in our lives. So, yeah.
Wow. You both had amazing answers, and I don't have one that could top it.
You've had a long career though.
Every
Tanner was
person, there's not necessarily topping either. It's just something that's influenced you individually.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be minor things that have made
Could just be little things.
differences for you.
Just don't quit. I think if I stop and look back at my career, in most cases, people are working their butts off trying to achieve a goal, and it seems like when people quit, they were right about to hit their goal. And if they would have just given it a little bit extra and pushed it through, they would have achieved that goal and broken through that glass ceiling. And yeah, I would say if you're struggling right now, if you're trying to get through something, if you have a goal in mind and you feel like you're just missing it, just keep thinking about it. Just keep trying. Just keep doing your best. Find some way to inspire yourself to give it just that 10% extra or whatever it takes to get you over that hump. Yeah.
You know, quickly while we're on jobs, what has been your least favorite job to this date? I think I could guess yours.
We all laugh.
What do you think it is?
Banner.
So it wasn't my worst job.
Yeah.
I actually my worst job was the first job I ever had. I was a baggage person for a grocery store, and I don't know, it just
I know you worked a day at Subway.
I did work a day at Subway. That
did.
was a pretty bad job. I quit that.
I loved Subway. I worked for Subway for 2 years, and I don't know. I was the fastest sandwich maker. I'm just saying. Like, we beat
She
the
was, that
record
lady.
of most sandwiches made in an hour. I think it was only a record within our little, store that we worked in, but it was fun. My worst job that I had was, it was a hair salon that I worked at, and I only worked there for, I think, like 2 days. And yeah, I was pregnant at the time, and the boss I was under would let me take a break, and I was so swollen, like my feet, and I just had a really hard time, and I just didn't feel like it was the best place for me. But I've worked at other hair salons that were amazing, so I think it was just that particular one. But
What about you, Joe?
I've done a lot of different jobs, things like that over the years, kind of a jack of all trades type background, but kind of along the lines where Aaron said, it was really one of my very first, it was actually my first official full-time job. Was I started a couple of days before my 16th birthday. My grandfather got the job for me, working for one of his neighbors. The guy owned a tile company. And so I was having to go out in 120-degree weather in buildings with no air conditioning and just doing grunt work, laying tile, carrying tens of thousands of pounds of tile a day, having to get on my knees, getting up and down. I actually permanently messed my back up doing that because I wasn't lifting right. So ergonomics, everybody, seriously. But it was so hard. And I remember kind of getting mad at my grandpa for it. Like, why did you do this to me? And he mentioned it's because I want you to have the worst job imaginable. Total shout out to all the people that do construction. You guys are amazing. But it's like the hardest job that people don't want to do. They don't want to go out and get hurt, go out and be in the bad conditions. And it kind of just inspired me. I need to either get an education, I need to have the drive, I need to do something so that I don't have to do that kind of thing, because that is not what I wanted. And if I ever get into a job and realize I don't want to do this, it gets me out real quick, all because I have that job as a frame of reference saying this was that bad. And I can also look at other jobs and go, okay, it was not a great job, but at least it wasn't as bad as that. So it always kind of has been an inspiration to me. But yeah, that job sucked.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you
All right,
guys.
peace.
Peace.
Love y'all.
Love you guys. Peace.